G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name's James. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas week and whole festive season, to be honest. I mean, I hope it's just been blissful for you. It has been very kind to me and I've been very rested. I have, I'm just going to put this out there, just in case I start coughing. I have had a bit of a bout in and out of sickness throughout the past month, and I'm currently being treated for asthma. So if I start coughing during this video, I'm just getting used to the medication. The inhaler is just, it is what it is. It's a little late in the game to be developing asthma, but you know, such is life. So we're going to deal with it, but I hope that that doesn't bother you too much. Hopefully we can get it sorted and I'll learn to live through it. Anyway, I've got a brand new journal here and I've got my timer set over off to the side for 30 minutes because I'm just going to have a play today. And my sole purpose is to play with the things that I got for Christmas and still haven't had a chance to play with just yet. And I kind of wanted to save my first impressions for a lot of this stuff for when I got on video because I thought we could share in that experience together. So I have, I kind of scribbled a few things out, I kind of swatched a few things, but there is some stuff that I haven't tried just yet and I thought it would be great to share it with you. So I'm not going to do like a haul, but I'm just going to show you some of the stuff that I'm using today because basically it was everything that I loved from everybody's kit at Art Journaling the Magic. So I have this Delde, I'm going to get all of this wrong, Delde, this brand pencil case. It's a stand-up pencil case, one of the ones that you pull down, it becomes its own little stand-up. I love this. It reminds me of Duffy from Tokyo Disneyland. So I'm going to use this for when I go to Art Journaling the Magic, that way I won't be taking this. I'll try and use this whenever I go out, to be honest. This is going to be my new little, like, on-the-go case. That's my plans for it. You know, everything is... I'm never married to anything. It's always up in the air. You can see there's a few goodies inside there. Before we get to that, I just want to show you I got this set of Escoda travel brushes, which I am absolutely enamored with. These are the synthetic Kolinsky. I have tried, I was lucky enough to be able to try a few at Art Journaling the Magic, and I tried the Kolinsky Sable, which is the real hair, and I just didn't like it as much as the synthetic. I know there's not a huge difference. I just found that there was a little bit more spring and snap in the synthetic. So I got these. Steve was lucky. I was lucky. Steve was kind enough to purchase me this whole set. So it came with a little carry case, but I am going to put them inside my little pouch here so I can use them and close them up whenever I need to. I'm going to go through some random things first. These were the Tombow brush markers that Art Journaling the Magic people know about, and I decided to finally get some after all that hassle I had trying to create the perfect grey. And then I got this thin line brush pen. This is something that I saw April Gleason use at Art Journaling the Magic, and it was super fun. Really fine bristled brush pen. I just thought it was really cute. Had a good time with that. This is something that I saw Brit use. I don't think it's the same brand. This one's by the brand Slice, and it is like a little... what's it called? Like an X-Acto knife. It's a little cutting tool, but it's really tiny. It's like a pen. I haven't used this one, so I hope it works, but I probably won't do any cutting today. I got this Pilot kind of envelope writer pen that's also an Art Journaling the Magic thing. The little Tim Holtz mini misters. Oh, I think they're Ranger mini misters. Also an Art Journaling the Magic thing. And these two, which you are going to die at. Oh, I also got... I've already filled up some half pans. I got some Daniel Smith in the primary set, which I'm really excited about. I was doing a little bit of a swatch with those here, just so I could see some of the primary colors, the secondary mixes, tertiary mixes, you know, regular swatch stuff. I got two inks, because I'm sure you can see just off to the side here, I did get two fountain pens for Christmas. I am starting to try and lock in on some pens that I think are durable, long-lasting, kind of pens that are a bit of an investment, but I feel like I won't be buying so many disposable pens all the time because I have a ton of different pens. I love to try them all. I love to see which ones work for me. I have some that, you know, obviously are really great and I'll keep using, but something that would just kind of replace all the standard pens that I have that I just don't really need to be repurchasing. So I did ask for this Lamy Joy. I've got the standard blue ink cartridge that it came with. I need to, I just did order a converter so I could put my own ink in this. I put my own ink in that, but at the moment it is blue, and I'm not even sure if that blue is waterproof, so we're about to find out. Oh, and the nib on that, I've got it in here. I've got a standard converter here as well. The nib I had replaced, this was the one that it came with, was a medium, and this nib on it is a silver nib extra fine. And it's really, really nice. Steve thinks it's a little scratchy. I can understand what he means, but as far as sketching goes, that is the line weight that I want. That's the look that I want, so that's what I got. And I had the medium, so I mean I could change it out if I really felt like it, but I do really like the fine. I wanted that to be a replacement for my Platinum Carbon Desk fountain pen, the Platinum Carbon Ink fountain pen, which I do have cartridges for, and I won't get rid of those, but I thought after a while I think I just wanted to upgrade to something just a little bit nicer. These aren't extremely expensive, but they are a bit more of an investment than the desk pen, which still works really, really well, so I'll keep that around as well. This is a Visconti. Now, I don't deserve it. Let me just say that much, especially as someone that has never properly used fountain pens or even really filled one up before, or like I really don't even know what I'm doing. But Steve, actually, I think it was when we saw Beth at Disneyland a long time ago. She had mentioned that her favorite was the Visconti, and I think I even said then and there, I was like, well, that's way too much money. Like, I don't even know what it is, but I know it's too much money. And Steve had surprised me with this Van Gogh edition Visconti pen. This was the box that it came in. It is absolutely stunning. It's the Starry Night edition, and it's just to die for. I have it filled with the Diatramentis Document Black ink, which I believe is waterproof. I'm not quite sure. What does it say? Exclusive handmade inks, fountain pens. I've heard lots of people use this. I'm sure it must be waterproof. If not, don't know what to do about that. Oh, and this one too. Steve got me this. Pelikan 4001 in blue. I'm not quite... Oh, royal blue? I don't know. Has anyone used this? Is this a good ink as well? It looks nice. I don't know anything about inks. I don't really know anything about fountain pens. I know it's awful. I even told Steve, I was like, I think this is a pen you graduate to. But it works like an absolute dream, and it is so beautiful. And I have it comes with a standard, I think it's a piston converter, the one that you wind up, so I can just refill that with whatever ink I feel like refilling it with, and that is the box that I will keep safe. I had a lovely Christmas. I was way too spoiled. I don't deserve half the things that I got, but I am very, very happy that I got them. In any case, I got my little timer over here. I think we should start it. I'm going to go for 30 minutes. Let's just see what happens. I'm just going to be drawing, literally drawing. I'm going to put some music on, and I'm going to jump up into a voiceover and have a chat up there. But yeah. I'm going to start 30 minutes on the clock. You know what? I'm going to go get my iPad first so I can put some YouTube on while I do it. I'll see you in a second. G'day, voiceover. All right, first let me address the elephant in the room. All the art supplies. Anything that I can find that is used in this video, I will have linked in the Amazon storefront, which is always listed in the description of the videos. In every single video for like, I think over a year now, I've been listing the Amazon storefront link, and I don't need you to go there. I just put it there for convenience because I inevitably get asked all the time, what are you using? What are you using? What are you using? And whilst it might still be in my fresh in my brain for some of the earlier videos, some videos 2 years ago, I have no idea what it was. So your guess is as good as mine at that point. So just if you are curious to know what something is or some specific brand, you don't have to buy it from that link, but it will be listed there. So it'll be much easier for you to find whatever the brand name is, and you can go and source it however you wish somewhere else. I thought I would just let you know that first and foremost, since I did show a few things and it's inevitable that there might be a few questions. So that'll be linked in the description box below. The next thing I wanted to mention is that I started drawing, and then I had no clear direction of what I was doing, and I was like, oh, I hate this. So then I moved on. And what I moved on to, something in the back of my head kind of remembered that someone had asked, how do you do the kind of window technique that I was doing in that 24-hour journal? And I've done it before in the past, and usually I'll draw and I'll have my illustrations come in and out of the frames, and it's kind of like a framing device, kind of like a comic book framing device for a journal page. But in this particular instance, I was drawing in that 24-hour journal that I did last week just for no reason. I was drawing the illustrations, but then I was just
making a circle or a square or a rectangle and just filling in that part of the picture with detail. So the stuff that was outside of it was kind of formless and colorless and shapeless, and or it just was what it was as I drew it. And then inside that window was where I focused a new color palette, or I focused texture or lots of detailed patterns, and it just became a really interesting little feature. Now, it is not the most difficult thing to do in the world. I think it's probably the easiest thing to do in the world. So as this goes along, I'm going to kind of explain how that happens, just in case you were wanting to try that for yourself and having a bit of a fun attempt at that. I'll also give you some of the tips and tricks that I found while doing it. I'm drawing very, very random, just illustrations today. I was kind of, since it was one of those requests that I had from showing the 24-hour journal, I was just in that weird 24-hour draw anything kind of a mood. And yeah, it's still really interesting. I think I want to do it again. I don't think I can film it because it was all through one day, and I think it would get in the way of the process to stop and film every single time I sat down to do any, because sometimes I would pick it up for like 5 minutes and just do something in it, and then I would leave it, and then I would come back to it. But to set the camera up every single time, and I was also not in one place. I was in the living room, I was in my bed, I was in the cafe down the street. Like, I don't know how I could film it unless I started changing how candid the whole experience was. And then I was thinking, well, there could be a different version where it was an hour long. Like, I only timed myself for an hour, and then I did it 24 times, and then I realized how long that would take to do. And I certainly don't have time to fit that into my schedule. So for those of you that asked about filming the 24-hour journal, I don't know. If I can figure out a way to make it make sense, I will try and do that. But as with anything that I kind of put out there, it's just, it's a maybe. It's a very strong maybe. You'll see. If I kind of get taken with the idea one day, usually that's when I'll go and do it. As it was, that project was just really for no reason, and I had been joking about it before, but I did find the whole thing very interesting, and I think I do want to take another approach at it, but next time with a specific intention to be super emotional about it. I don't know, it seems like it would be really off-brand for me, so I think that's just why I want to have a go and just see what would happen. I'm really exploring in journaling right now. Like, I'm using journaling as a way to explore some of those uncharted parts of my brain and my imagination. Yeah, just personal exploration, personal growth. I finally tested if that ink was waterproof, and wouldn't you know it, it's not. So that was a good thing to find out, because I was going to draw all over this with blue and then watercolor, so that would have just really messed everything up. But you can see I've drawn out some really, they're not simple characters, but they are simple line work. There's nothing really detailed going on. That's where I'm going to start, and I'm taking two squares or rectangles. One's a rectangle, one's kind of a square. And I'm framing two parts of that page. Pretty big, because I want a big area to work in. Now, all I'm going to worry about is finishing the illustration inside those squares. Everything else outside of it is just going to be left untouched. You could obviously go and do, perhaps you could finish it in black and white outside of the squares if you really just wanted to finish the whole page, or, you know, you could have a certain color palette inside the squares and a certain color palette outside. You could use a certain medium inside and a certain medium outside. But I really do just enjoy how it focuses your eyes on these two specific parts of the page, and it leaves the rest kind of open for interpretation. You can kind of see what parts, you know, what color the rest of that weird triangle head, unicorn, horse, fairy, grape tail thing is, but you don't really know, because it's pretty much left untouched. And you can see some of the motifs that carry from one character to the next. You can assume that perhaps that other animal had it on there, but you just don't really know. So I like that it's a little open, and I would also probably put journaling in that negative space in all the black and white, because I'm sure something like this would spark some kind of thought process. For me, while I'm filming, it's hard to really go deep with a thought process in something like this that's like very free play, and my intention was just to create the piece so I could explain how it happened. And as it is, I've kind of explained how it happened now, so it really wasn't that difficult. It's just finish what's inside the square. But my tips, I guess if I'm going to give you any tips before I move on and talk about something else, my tips would be to limit your color palette to you know, I would say 3 colors probably always works best, but also don't follow any of the rules I'm talking about. I certainly didn't. So, but if you're starting out and you feel like you're having a bit of an overwhelming time just setting some parameters for yourself, 3 colors works kind of best. I like watercolor because it's quick and it's simple. I also love using it. I love the feel of painting with it, and I got to use my new Escoda brushes, which I absolutely adore, Kim. Honestly, they're just so beautiful. I don't know why I waited this whole time. You know, you can make a Crayola brush work, but wow, these feel really nice. And I know there's so many people saying I told you so, but still, I mean, I'm going to use my Crayola brushes still. But these are just such a treat to use, and I just felt really luxurious using them, if I'm honest. A little bit bad and bougie with my travel brushes. Anyways, so I would suggest sticking with probably about 3 different watercolors. You can also mix secondary and tertiary colors. Is tertiary colors a word? I've been saying it. I said it once in this video already. If it isn't, we're just going with it. It's what I'm calling when you mix the secondary colors together. I'm pretty sure that's tertiary colors. I don't know. I left art in grade 8. If anyone's curious, couldn't really deal with all of the art history. But anyway, so once you've done the coloring, you don't have to color it either. Some of them I would just do pattern work inside and make them really detailed, or texture, or shading, or, you know, you just use a graphite pencil and kind of go nuts in there. Or you could, yeah, really obviously the possibilities are endless. It just kind of depends on what floats your boat. But if you're working inside there, my tip would just be to take it to the level of finish that you would think is finished. So I'm pretty much a everything plus the kitchen sink kind of gal, and I'll I'm not a girl, but you know what I mean. Plan a gal. I just kind of put everything on there, so it stands to reason that even though I'm telling you, like, pick 3 colors and just put some simple patterns in there, I'm obviously not going to do that. I'm going to go and put way too much in there, probably an amount that would scare anyone that's kind of new, but I just think it's fun. I mean, you're obviously making these pages for fun. I don't know who would be doing this for anything too serious. I don't know, maybe you could be, maybe you need this technique for something, but it's something that I think you can just have fun with. So whatever fun looks like to you, go for that. And my last tip, actually, I probably should have mentioned this before the coloring part, because like I said, I love watercolor since it's simple, and I can block in the colors and then I can go over the top with all my detail work, and it just gives a really nice flat base to work on top of, and really nice soft color. I mean, it's just fun. But if you don't like watercolors, you could obviously use any kind of mixed media that you think would work well with others. But when I put the line work over the top and when I putting in all the detail, what I think is the most important to note about this technique is that you want to frame whatever you want to end up drawing and detailing. I know it sounds simple, but I have done this before where I've just framed a part of the image and I've looked at the rest of it and thought, you know what, I probably would have preferred to color in, say, like, you know, that unicorn fairy grape tail head thing. What if I wanted to do the face of that? Then obviously I would have had to extend that rectangle out a bit more to include that inside, because I'm not going to do anything that's on the outside of the rectangle. Alternatively, you could do all the stuff on the outside of the rectangles and just leave the stuff inside the frame quite plain. You could invert the whole thing if you wanted to. But yeah, so be intentional about that. And if you've got a bit of foresight, if you can manage that, put a few motifs and details in that frame that you know you'll want to be working on. Like, I find leaf shapes very therapeutic, and you'll see that, I mean, pretty much in the last 2 years of my videos. I just really like the shape. I really like doing a repetitive leaf motif, and sprinkles and dots and dashes and lines. It's just all of that kind of mindless zentangling and doodling just really calms me down, really makes me feel a lot relaxed. Makes me feel relaxed. So you want to put some of that inside your frame as well, because that is where you get to spend all of your time finishing it up. And yeah, so I guess my advice is don't frame anything on the page that isn't your favorite thing, because that's what you're going to end up working on. So you kind of want to set yourself up for a bit of success there. And it just so happens that I didn't want to work over because I probably would have done that weird horse thing, but I didn't want to work over the spine. So lesson for next time, if I want to do that one again, I can just draw it in the middle of the page, not crossing 2 pages. But I did kind of want to work a little bit bigger just so I could show you. I'm working in an A5 size, so it's pretty substantial. But I just wanted to use all my stuff. I like the primary watercolors from Daniel Smith. I love Daniel Smith watercolors. I think the primary set is a really beautiful set for mixing. Very bold, very vivid, plain colors. You're not going to get a super vibrant purple, but it's a great set. I think, obviously, any kind of primary set is great, but it's got a Perylene red, a French ultramarine, and a Hansa yellow medium. So, were they... I think... Are they a warm primary? I think they're a warm primary set. I think I'm going to say they're going to be warm primaries. They didn't look too cool to me. So you're going to be able to mix a nice little rainbow there, but I don't think if you're someone that's into really poppy, punchy, neon kind of colors, that might not be the primary set for you. I do recommend looking into primary sets if you're someone that's starting out, or even if you aren't, but if you're someone that just got a primary set and then never looked further than that, because my favorite primaries are actually a hot pink, a magenta, kind of like an ink tank, except for the cyan, I'll put in like a dark blue. So it's kind of, you've got like an ultramarine. Oh, look, the 30 minutes was up. That's as much as I managed in 30 minutes. So there you go. I did end up going for an extra 20 minutes just because I couldn't help myself. So I'm going to keep going. I've got about 10 minutes left of voiceover, so we're going to stick around for a little bit longer. But just check on your primaries and see if you can't make a different mix. They usually recommend that you'll have the best opportunity to mix the most amount of colors that aren't muddy and that are very clear and vibrant. If you put cool primaries together and warm primaries together, sometimes it can be hard to figure out if it is cool or warm, or if you're a little colorblind. And then sometimes it really doesn't matter. Sometimes you can use a muddy color to a great effect. So I am so not one for the rules of anything. I think it's important to learn stuff, but I don't think it's important to limit yourself. So if you have never branched out and tried a different set of primaries, or even created your own set just out of curiosity, like mixed a warm yellow with a cool blue, and then instead of having a red, you had a magenta, or like a what's it called, an opera pink. Just go for that. Try that, because it might just really shake everything up for you. And I think, you don't have to keep it forever. I change out my watercolor palettes all the time. Every season, I kind of go through a new little obsession with something. So it's just something that you can have fun with, and I think it's those small little changes that'll really start to get you excited for things. I think I watched. And I don't want to go into this tangent a little bit, but I do say that I watch a lot. I consume a lot of content. I think towards the end of the year, I see a lot of people starting to get really overwhelmed and giving up on a lot of things, and just not, just being really disillusioned with the idea of creating in journals or just doing art at all. And it gets me really upset, because I just know how much fun it is to explore all of that. And I think if the curiosity stayed in check, I think if you were always curious, perhaps a lot of that could be avoided. But it's not just like you can just be blessed and always be curious, right? And there's certainly times when I'm not feeling very curious and I have to kind of turn it on, but there are things you can do to get yourself into that space and into that mood. And if you don't want to, then by all means, just don't. But I do see a lot of people complaining that they want to and they just don't know how to. So it might be something as simple as changing up your regular color palette, or challenging yourself to find a new set of 3 primary colors that just seem really interesting to you in that moment, or you think it could be good to use for a couple of weeks. So I'll leave you with that. I think this has been a non-tutorial, but kind of a basic 3-step tutorial, I guess. Draw, image, frame parts that you want to detail, and then detail. As far as the detailing goes, I just used my fountain pen, and then I started getting mixed media because I couldn't help myself. The Tombos came out, brush pens came out, everything just kind of came out in the end, and I had a really, really great time with it. It was something different. I wasn't expecting to see this in this little play session. I actually thought I was going to do fashion illustration today. So just kind of letting it happen, I just had a really great time, and I hope you had a good time watching. I hope if this was something you wanted to try, that explained it well enough. If not, There should be a picture on Instagram, so hopefully you can see it there. You can copy these characters. I have no personal attachment to either of them, so if you want to copy them straight up and just have a go at it, please, by all means. If you want to make them even more crazy than you see them on the screen, I'd love to see that as well. I can't wait to get into 2020. I'm so happy with this little kind of portable art kit that I've got going on now. I feel very art journaling the magic. Like, I feel very legit about it. Watch out, art journaling the magic, ladies. Like, I took note of everybody's pencil case, and I think I've created quite a nice little set for myself. I'm just like super excited to get in there and just feel like I had the right set this time. I took way too much last time. It was embarrassing. And I love my pencil case. Looks like a little Duffy pencil case. I think I'm going to put a little Duffy keychain on there. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure it out. I might have to go to Japan to get it. Could you imagine? Oh, my asthma's flaring up. Goodness, am I going to make it to the end of the video? That was a real weird one too. I'm sorry I laid that on you earlier. Please don't think anything's wrong. It's just, I've had a later in life kind of development, and it just is what it is. I don't know if it's been like actual asthma in the sense that this is just going to be like how it is from now on, but I've just been struggling with a lot of allergies, and I had a pretty bad infection, like a viral infection not a few weeks, it's like over a month ago now, and it just seems to have wreaked havoc on my respiratory system, and so they think it's kind of linked to allergies, that the allergic response is triggering asthma now, which it never used to do in the past. But having said that, I have been having a bit of a struggle, and yes, they're kind of telling me that it does have something to do with the cats because I'm allergic to the cats. It was so funny because the doctor was like, "Do you have pets?" Like, he goes, "Are you allergic to pets?" And I was like, "Yeah, cats." And he goes, "Do you have cats?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "How many?" I said, "2." And he gave me the weirdest, like, like, why do you have 2 cats that you're allergic to? I can't help myself. And honestly, I didn't know I was allergic to them until a few years ago. Because my cats at home, when I was growing up, they were in and out of the house all the time, and they didn't really shed a lot, I don't remember. I used to get itchy eyes, and I would sneeze like 20 times in a row, but I always thought that was just hay fever as well. I don't know, I'm a mess. I'm a nerd. It was like such a nerdy thing to have hay fever. Anyway, so that's just what's happening, and at this point, it's just a dry cough and just some wheezing, which I'm just very self-conscious of coming through this brand new microphone that I have, this gorgeous little microphone that has a mute button now, which I'm obviously never going to use, but I feel like this microphone is so nice that it's going to pick up on the wheezing. So, yeah, I'm really trying not to cough right now. Okay, we're going to make it to the end. We really are. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas as well. We spent it just chill at home, watching movies. There's a new movie, a new Christmas movie called Klaus on Netflix, which was absolutely stunning. I loved it. I thought it was really, really clever. To me, it was like a mix of Tim Burton meets kind of like a Studio Ghibli kind of film meets, what else? There was a lot. There was a lot of references that Steve and I were thinking, oh yeah, it crosses like that. Oh, to me, it gave me huge Emperor's New Groove vibes, like very much so. So if you read any of those films, you might have enjoyed Klaus. I think I'll make that my new, I'll add that to my yearly roster for Christmas films. Stella came over, Danielle came over, we all exchanged gifts. Some of the other gifts that I received was a Tamagotchi. Danielle got me a Tamagotchi, so now I'm just choosing which journal I shall attach my my new pet to. And I totally didn't ask for it either. She knew that that's what I just really needed. And Stella really went all out, and should not have, but had purchased me Gucci slides. So just get into that fantasy. Socks and slides are going to be my new thing in the winter. Usually I try and wear my flip-flops for as long as I can. But now that I've got slides, this is over for everyone. The street's not going to know what hits it when I come out with my socks and slides on. It's going to be terrible. My mum would hate it, but they're Gucci, so obviously it's going to work. Oh, anyway, that's what all the YouTubers do. That's what I think they do anyway. I don't know. I'm not with it. I'm not with the kids. But anyway, so I had a really, really great Christmas, and it was so much fun to spend it with friends and family, and called my family at home. We remembered to get on each other's time zones and wish each other a Merry Christmas. So that was super fun to catch up with them as well. And yeah, next year I'll be at home for Christmas. So this was yeah, this is a great Christmas to lead up to that as well. I love Christmas. I'm actually devastated that it's over, so let's just not talk about it. Hope you had a great one though. Let's get really excited for the new year. I have no idea what video is coming next, but I do anticipate telling you what my plans are for 2020. I know I kind of kept them a little secret for 2019, but I think I really want to let you in on how I see this year coming up, going down. So I'll see you then real soon. Bye.